Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today in Tokyo, Japan, my time, it's Saturday, November 14th, the morning. And lo and behold, the Criterion Collection has gone ahead and made its usual monthly announcement with respect to its future titles. They've done it a little bit earlier, although we can kind of understand why, given the timing with respect to the weekend, and also they decided to announce it ahead of the weekend rather than afterwards, which is really nice. And so for this announcement, they have announced its titles that it plans to release. The Criterion Collection plans to release for February 2021, and you can take a look at the titles and also specifications and special features and the like, and cover art designs. You can take a look at that at the Criterion website directly, criterion.com. The link will be down below, and so I encourage you to do that. But for now, for our purposes, let's just go through these very briefly and see what they are and what we feel about them as of now with respect to this announcement. So the first title that's announced is scheduled for release on February 9th, 2021, and that is the film by Alan J. Pakula called The Parallax View. Next, we have scheduled for release February 16th, 2021, the filmmaker Usman Semben and his film MANDABI. Then, on February 23rd, we have a number of titles being released. First up, we have two films on separate individual releases that are directed by Ramin Barani, and the first being Man, Push, Cart, and the second being Chop Shop. And also on the 23rd of February, we have the film by Joyce Chopra, which is Smooth Talk. So with that, those are the February releases, and my goodness, what should we make of these? Well, let's start with the Alan J. Pakula film. So the Parallax View. This is great. So this is going to be scheduled for spine number 1064, and this is from the early 1970s. It's 1974, yes, and stars Warren Beatty. And it is a film that is considered to be, or it's often described as being part of what is generally known as the films of paranoia, or oftentimes referred to as the Paranoia trilogy of Alan J. Pakula. And so this film has a lot of really gritty, true to form style, and its subject matter is also, I think, quite fascinating in terms of where it goes and the things it tries to explore on the boundaries of what might be deemed to be the exploration of controversy and sensationalism on the one hand, but how that may or may not be something that is actually lurking in the shadows on the other. And it's all shot in the sense of disillusionment. It's all shot in the sense of not trusting things and institutions, and what that eventually leads to in terms of its cinematic outcomes. So this is really one of my favorite films by Pakula, in fact, and so I'm very excited about this. If you look at the cover art, this is incredibly, I think, unnerving, actually, and quite eerie. And I find, therefore, it's a very effective cover art design indeed, quite chilling, in fact. And so this looks to be a really exciting release. And we have a number of supplements that are listed on the site, the Criterion site, so you can take a look at that. There seem to be a number of new interviews So that should be great, as well as some archival interviews with the director. And so let's look forward to this very much. So this is, again, the film The Parallax View for spine number 1064. Next is the film that has the spine number 1065 for the film from 1968. This is from the great filmmaker Ousmane Sembène, and this is MANDABI. And it's sometimes referred to in English as The Money Order. And this is actually based on a novel or novella that is by Sembène himself. And I had the great opportunity to be able to watch this many years ago when I was a student. And it's a really, it's kind of a fascinating and it's a fascinating story about how this idea of a sudden money windfall can have these real sort of funny but also rippling, ironic effects, and the way it plays itself out in this modern day society. And what that allows is actually a really probing and profound discussion in cinematic terms of the notions of, for example, the application of capitalism and the clash between capitalism and societal norms, or perhaps if one were to take a more cynical view, perhaps there is no clash, but in fact there is much in sync between the application of capitalism and the erosion, perhaps, of acceptable societal norms. Let me put it that way. On the one hand, also it's a film that really interweaves quite skillfully the notions or the impacts, if you will, of the lingering after effects of colonialism leading up to the 20th century. So that is also in the background as well. And it has a sense, therefore, of a kind of focus on the corrupting effects of money and greed, and how this also has effects in terms of class and struggles in terms of poverty and the like. And so it's all here in this quite ingenious work from Sembène. And so I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy that it's here. And I think if this film can be seen by as many people as possible, I'd be very happy about that. So this is great. This is absolutely great. We, of course, have had the work by Ousmane Sembène and the Criterion Collection, which is called La Noire de, and the English title that is given to that for purposes of the Criterion Collection release is Black Girl. And so I've actually spoken a little bit on this channel about that work, La Noire de. So if you're interested, you can check that out. It was from a couple of years ago. But this is great to have another work by Sembène. And really, if you haven't explored the works of Sembène, this MANDABI and Black Girl, I think, would be some really great places to go if you are interested. So this is wonderful news. Really, we should take this as being absolutely wonderful news. I'm so thrilled with this. And it looks also from the supplements that we will also be getting a short film by Sembène as well. So, and plus other programs and new conversations, so, and the like. So this is great. This is absolutely great. And so this is something that hopefully I'll be able to talk about next February. So once again, this is the Ousmane Sembène film, MANDABI. And then going along, next we have the films by Ramin Bahrani. So the first is Man Push Cart, and this is going to be for spine number 1066, and this is from 2005, yes. And I remember seeing this in New York because I was living in New York around this time in the mid-2000s, and this was a filmmaker that was emerging on the scene, and it had incredible word of mouth, and so I had to catch up with it, and I was very stunned by its depiction of the city. It has a true to form look at the city, and this idea of struggle. And it's often, I think, quite rightly been compared to neorealism, Italian neorealism, if we understand this sort of realism, grittiness that is captured in cinema. There's also a methodical pace as well, and that's often been associated or compared with Robert Bresson. And I think that's also a very astute comparison to make. What I like here is that this is a kind of this sense of struggle, the sense of hope combined with endurance, also the sense of the individual experience in the city. And we have to remember too that the landscape or the climate is the mid-2000s. So this is New York in the post 9/11 world. And so we have, I think, in the background, this almost existential view on the city and life and individual experience, and that might lead to explorations or conversations of, as I say, struggle, endurance, alienation, and also the, kind of a day-to-day living. So it's filled with a lot of true to life feeling, and that's what I think is so great about this film and Bharani's works in general. So Man Push Cart, so that's a great one to have, so that's going to be great. And to continue on the same day, or the same release day, we're going to have Bharani's work Chop Shop. And this is from 2007. This is for spine number 1067. And I was very fortunate. I haven't seen, as of now, I haven't been able to see all of Bharani's recent works, very recent works, but I have seen Chop Shop, and I think it's kind of a marvel, and this is a really lovely, another film that has been described in or compared to realism or Italian neorealism. And this is also a New York story. This takes place, I think, in Queens, and so this is a story about childhood, adolescence, and also family relationships and dynamics. And it has this, it's also about class, and also about the day-to-day living experience and existence, and this idea of hope and desperation, this idea of the harshness of the immediacy of the world, and also the idea of family bonds, and an outlook on life in the world, and what all that entails and how it plays out over the course of the cinematic narrative. So there is a real, a very astute and sharp and caring cinematic eye that I think Ramin Bharani displays in this and his other works. And so, Chop Shop, I'm so happy about this. So. And we have here a number of supplements that you can see on the site yourself. There are a couple of new conversations and programs. There is an audio commentary from 2006, it says, so that's going to be lovely to see. But in any event, we get the Ramin Bharani works that are going to be coming in the Criterion Collection in February. So Man Push Cart and Chop Shop. Wow, this is great. This is great. And, we're not ending there, because the same day, the 23rd of February, we get Joyce Chopra's work, Smooth Talk, with Laura Dern. And this is based, it has its source of inspiration from Joyce Carol Oates. And so this film is, let me say, it's scheduled to be for spine number 1068, and this is 1985. Wow. Okay. So this film, Smooth Talk, is it's this story or drama that, if I were to try to boil it down to its essence, it's about adolescence, and it's about the feeling of teenage angst and rebellion, the idea of exploration and wanting freedom, but feeling somewhat maybe held back for reasons that we might not necessarily know at the time. That's all tied in into ideas of exploration of one's own sexual identity, and also one's own feelings and confusions, especially as one is growing up, and the things that we encounter, the people that we meet, and the potential dangers that could be lurking, and the like. And so this is, I think, at the very narrative essence of the film. We have, of course, I think, a very nuanced and well-constructed, complex, and very rich performance at the heart of this film by Laura Dern. And it's very bold, and it's very brave, and it also it's very demanding as well. And I find it, therefore, it's an incredible examination. And there is also this, as I say, it's also about the unknown. And we have also the appearance of Treat Williams in a very key role. And in fact, Treat Williams and Laura Dern's character are appearing on the cover art design for the Criterion release, which is really great, by the way. So this is I think this is a film that holds a lot of surprise, and it goes places. It goes to places that seem to be very, I think, they feel very real. They feel very organic. They also feel very, very frightening, and also very potentially quite altering in many senses of that phrase. And so there is, I think this has this, it's often described as maybe a coming-of-age tale, but it's that and a whole lot more, in my view. And it's actually quite morally and psychologically very complex and very dense, and it has a lot of, I think, ways in which it keeps asking questions that can go on even after the film is over. So this is a great film to have in the Criterion Collection. Really, really great. So this is Smooth Talk, and then we have a bunch of special features. And yes, so I was talking about the New York Film Festival. So among the features, we have a conversation which is moderated by Alicia Malone, and actually that was, I think that was online, and I was able to watch that a few weeks ago, in fact. So this is a very interesting timing indeed, and oh, this is great, absolutely great. So so we have the film Smooth Talk, Joyce Chopra, and this is for February 2021. And so with that, my friends, we have the Parallax View, we have Mandabi, Man Push Cart, Chop Shop, and Smooth Talk. So 5 titles. So with that, I can say, so first of all, personally, I am very, very excited. This is outstanding. We have Bharani, of course, we have Joyce Chopra, and then Pakula and Semben have films already in the Criterion Collection, but it's great to have more. So all in all, I am over the moon. I'm absolutely thrilled by this. It's exciting, and I very much hope that for those of you maybe who are interested in these films, or maybe who haven't seen these films yet, I hope this provides a great opportunity to watch and explore these outstanding, in their own ways, outstanding and very bold and critical works. So, and hopefully this means that these will be or have already been made available on the Criterion Channel streaming service. If so, and if you have access to it, please check them out if you can. I certainly will be getting these in February, so I'm very excited for this. I should say, let's see, maybe just a few points of note, which is there are no 4K releases here, as we see. So I've sort of discussed this a little bit in my discussions of, I think, the Elephant Man and other questions that people have asked me. But I'm actually, I'm very much okay with this. I don't necessarily see the need to go 4K. Although I do understand that there are a number of people and a number of consumers who would love to see Criterion enter the 4K market. So I get that, and I respect that view wholeheartedly. For me personally, I am okay with this. I'm absolutely okay with this. And so I continue to enjoy, and hopefully I can look forward to more Blu-ray release announcements going forward. And of course, if Criterion does make that format jump, then I will be there and I will see what it is they have to offer. But for the time being, my friends, I am very thrilled and I'm very satisfied as a consumer of the product that Criterion releases. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, of course, we note that there are no box sets here for this month. And so what that could mean is perhaps Criterion is often known for its box sets. And of course, it doesn't mean that Criterion releases box sets every month, but it does release them rather periodically. And so maybe we might be able to expect a box set maybe next month or in the coming months. We did get a box set announcement for January. I think it's a box set anyway, or at least it's a collection, the Buñuel films. But in terms of an actual box set that is coming on the horizon, people have been noting the Wong Kar-wai set, and that seems to be pretty much coming. It's just a matter of when. And of course, I, along with other people, would love to see that announced sooner rather than later, of course, although we do understand at the same time that it's probably going to happen. Now, we have to understand that there's probably a link between screenings and the actual physical media release itself. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an announcement about that, say, in the next couple months. But let's just keep our fingers crossed about that. But anyway, that probably will be coming along the horizon very soon. Again, I hope so anyway. I hope so. And as well, there might be some other box sets that are in store for us that Criterion will surprise us with going forward, as they always have done. So let's hold out, for those of us who are box set fans, let's hold out hope for that. But in the meantime, that's not to take away anything from my excitement and enthusiasm for the February titles. So this is really, I'm so thrilled by this. And so, my friends, that is the February announcement from Criterion, or at least my sense or my initial reaction to it. So once again, I'm very excited by this. And I hope you are as well. And if you are not, that's okay as well. After all, these are products, and this is your money. And so you are free and able to spend your hard-earned money in any way you want. And so if you don't want to purchase these, or these don't seem to be things or films that you would be interested in, that's okay too, my friends. There's nothing that says you have to like every single Criterion release. So, but for me, I see that there is a lot of potential, and I'm very impressed with the scope of the works, and also the types of titles that we are getting, and they feel like potentially new discoveries or new rediscoveries. And for me and my own cinema journey, where there is any chance or opportunity for discovery or rediscovery, I am very much in for the ride. So in that sense, I'm very excited by this February announcement. And so in any event, my friends, what do you think? please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. As always, your comments are one of the main reasons why I do this channel, so I always look forward to hearing what it is you have to say. Anything you want, my friends, it's okay by me. And so with that, my friends, that's it for now. And until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time, and cheers.